You will work very hard in the morning, mulling over the philosophy of Vedanta. So I'm not going to make you work hard this evening. We'll do part 2 tomorrow in the morning when everyone is fresh. So this evening, I want to speak about something very practical and most relishable. What is that? Mangala Arati. So, usually Mangala Arati takes place about 5 in the morning, sometimes 5:30, depending on the time of the year. But here, very mercifully, during this festival, the Mangala Arati is taking place at 6:30 in the morning. Especially so those who are staying outside, they can come and participate in that morning program. And I was delighted to see that several devotees who were staying outside traveled and arrived here in the morning at 6:30 and participated in the Mangala Arati. So, why? Why do we do this? It is such a morning ritual which is so powerful and purifying and relishable and becomes sweeter and sweeter every day. So we want to speak about the meaning of Mangala Arati and the kirtan that we sing at that time. Nama Shrishtam Manamapi Sachiputam Atrasurupam Rupam Tasakachanuri Purim Maturim Goshavashim Radha Kundam Gidivaram Ahoradika Manavasum Prapto Yasya Pratitya Kripaya Shri Guru Tammanatosi Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Ananda Lilamaya Vigrahaya Prema Bhaktivyaschavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhakta-vinda Aparada Lakshe Chirtastakama Vitarakamari Vitamarita Sharanam Prabharam Virende Namaste Charanaravinda Virende Namaste Charanaravinda Govinda Rama Shikha Smarha Samurli Manahara Radhikar Sakamamakripanidhi So Priyacharna King Kurin Kuru Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tayadana Iti Vidyaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadiya Parmarada Tama Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotarasta Sri Rupa Nuga Acharya Varya Sila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the feet of my Guru's Guru, my Param Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and all of our great spiritual masters in tradition going back thousands of years to Sri Krishna himself. And finally, I offer my pranam to all of you, my dear spiritual brothers and sisters, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Panchakalpa, Vaishnavis. Every morning, devotees rise early, take bath, put on tilak, and come to the temple to attend the Mangala. Now, we should understand that our practice of bhakti, everything that we do, we should try to practice in such a way that it is a sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means what we perform, the activities we engage our senses in order to attain a particular goal of life. So in a general sense, many people think, oh, if I'm chanting, I'm reading, or serving deities, or singing bhajans and so on, it's sadhana. But there's a very specific definition of sadhana. That is, kriti sadhya bhavat sadhya bhavasa sadhana veda nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. The meaning is this: when all the senses are engaged in activities, in the various practices of hearing, chanting and remembering, for the specific express purpose of attaining one's goal of life. And what is that sadhya? Sadhana is what you do to attain sadhya. Sadhana means the method by which you attain sadhya, an objective or a goal. So what is actually the goal of sadhana bhakti? The goal of sadhana bhakti is yes, bhav bhakti, a particular mood of ecstatic love. So nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. Sadhana is the practice which prepares the heart for the appearance of an eternally perfect, ecstatic, loving mood. Now, it is not that our activities can generate this mood, because anything which is generated, anything which has a beginning, belongs to the world of Maya. It belongs to the world of the temporary world of material energy. So material things come and go, but everything which is transcendental is eternal. So the mood of love that we are trying to attain actually already exists. Where does it exist? Nitya siddhasya bhavasya. Here, nitya siddhasya bhavasya means nitya siddhasya bhaktasya bhavasya. One word is missing. Madhyapad lopi samas. It's a compound in which one of the middle terms is not directly expressed. Nitya siddhasya bhaktasya means that the eternal angelic associates of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, they already have a perfect love. And that love is like the sun shining. And when we practice sadhana, we try to practice in such a way that our heart becomes ready to receive just one ray of the shining sun of their eternal love. And that becomes one with our chitta, becomes one with our heart. And that is called bhav. So, the practice of sadhana is not like an artificial generation of an emotion. I'm trying to love Krishna. Now I'm going to try even harder to love Krishna. It's not an exaggerated, the hyper-emotionalism. It's nothing to do with hyper-emotionalism. But rather, in a mood of humility, one is performing his sadhana with a very steady heart. And the heart is like a begging bowl, requesting the grace to descend. The eternal love, which is eternal and already perfect and fully spiritual, shining like the sun, one ray of that should come and melt our chitta, melt our heart, and then we become overwhelmed with that eternally perfect divine emotion. Now, those who are Nityasiddha, the associates of Sri Krishna, their love is of different varieties. Some love Krishna as his servants in the Dasyaras. Some love Krishna as his cowherd friends, the boys who he plays with in the forest of Vrindavan. Some of the Nityasiddha eternal associates love Krishna like their own child. And so they have Vatsalya Rasa, parental love. Krishna's like my son, my darling boy. And others, they have the Madhura Rasa. Madhura Rasa means the romantic mood. So they are the gopis of Vrindavan. First and foremost, Krishna's own Shakti, his own internal bonsi, Shrimati Radhika, and then all the other gopis, the cowherd girls of Vrindavan, who in the Leela, their love for him is secret. Because the play of Krishna is a drama. It's like a drama. And though he is God, and Radhika and the gopis are his own Shaktis, so they're legitimately, most legitimately and naturally and ontologically, metaphysically related to Krishna. And so their loving services to him, all their various types of loving services and embraces, they're all completely pure. Yet in the Leela, in the pastime, Sri Krishna is covered by the power of the Prem of the residents of Vrindavan, and he himself considers himself to be a cowherd boy, the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, living in the village. And his Shaktis, as the drama of the Leela unfolds, the gopis, their marriages have been arranged to others, but they've never met with their so-called husband in their arranged marriages. But from childhood, they're completely in love with Sri Krishna. And so, because this relationship, it's called the Parakya Bhav, the unwedded, and from this perspective of tattva, of philosophy, it's completely legitimate. But from the perspective of the pastimes, it's forbidden. And so Radhika and the gopis, they should not meet with Krishna. But the obstacle of the Vedic Dharma, that they should not meet with him, and the obstacle of the chastisement and the censure of all the members of society and their seniors, these obstacles, they only serve to show the power of this love. Because if a river is flowing and you try to block it with a dam, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it flows over the top with greater force. So in the same way, the love of the gopis and of Radha, though it is blocked by so many obstacles, but still it just becomes deeper and deeper, and it can transgress all obstacles, all fear of the lokalaja, the shyness of the censure of society, and also because this is a Naravat, it's human-like pastimes. We are in this world human beings, and we have to contend with so many difficulties, and we have to follow Dharma. If we go against Dharma, we become criticized. So this world is a reflection of the highest portion of the spiritual world, where though everyone is liberated, and Krishna is God and the gopis are his Shakti, they feel as if they're human beings, and they're bound by Dharma. But those obstacles, they only serve to manifest the strength of their love as they cross over all obstacles to secretly meet together. So this is the Krishna Lila. It is a level of theology far beyond what is found anywhere else. So, we're discussing sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means when we engage in hearing, chanting and remembering with the fixed, one-pointed, exclusive intention of attaining nitya-siddhasya bhavasya, an eternally perfect mood. So if a devotee does not know, well, what is my goal? Am I trying to just get mukti, liberation, chant 16 rounds and go back home, back to Godhead? Just get out of this world somehow or other, by hook or by crook? Or am I going to, do I want to go to Vaikuntha, where God is there with the four arms, being worshipped by the Vedas personified, and Garuda and Narad Muni, and Lakshmi Devi in a very reverential mood as the Supreme Lord? Or is my goal beyond Vaikuntha, in Vrindavan, where no one has any idea that Krishna is God? They also believe that Narayan is God, and they can worship Narayan there. But Krishna, oh, he's my friend, or he's my darling, my sweetheart. And in that realm, there are servants. What is my goal? To be a servant of Krishna, or a friend of Krishna, or a parent, like a parent of Krishna, or a beloved of Krishna. And among his beloveds in the romantic mood, there are also different varieties of mood and status within the group of Radharani's friends as well. So, until by the mercy of Sri Guru, we understand what exactly is our goal, then it's not possible to perform real sadhana. Our practice is called at most, sadhana abhas, a semblance of sadhana. But when a person understands by the mercy of Guru their vishesh sambandha gyan. Sambandha gyan means the gyan, the knowledge of sambandha, relationship. So it has two types. First type is called sadharana sambandha gyan, the general relation. So that is something which is sadharana, or common, or general to everyone. Jivera swarupoi Krishnera nitya das. Every living entity is Krishna's servant. We know. So that's something that's common and general to all of us. But Vishesh Sambandha Gyan means specific knowledge of your particular relationship with Krishna. And that is what Diksha is for. Diksha, Divyam Gyanam Yathodatyat Karya Papas Asankhya. Tasmat Diksheti Sa Prokta Deshikais Tattvako Vidai. The learned transcendentalists define Diksha as the process by which one's material samskars and sins are removed, and one becomes imbued with Divya Gyan, transcendental knowledge, and that transcendental knowledge is Bhagavat Srupa Jnana Thena Bhagavat Sambandha Vishesh Jnanam Cha. It means the realization of your Ishtadev, the form of God with whom you are eternally related, and knowledge of your Vishesh Sambandha, your own particular, special, unique relationship with Krishna. So this comes through the process of Diksha, not Anustanika Diksha, not just the ceremony where you have a haircut and you put a coconut in the fire and so on, but actual Diksha process, the internal development of one's relation with the Supreme Lord. So this is Diksha. So one who has received Diksha and understands that process, every day they engage in hearing, chanting and remembering, but they will sing particular songs. They will study particular poems. They will study particular shastra. They will engage in hearing, chanting and remembering with a focus on their sadhya, their one particular goal. So this is a more developed stage. Just like in education, when you go to school, you go to primary school or secondary school. It's not called that here in America, is it? What? Elementary school and high school, right? So yeah, when you go to school, then you have to study more or less everything when you're younger. But then when you go to university, you have to choose a subject and specialize in that. So, and so, in the same way, when we first come to the path of bhakti, we kind of hear about everything, learn about everything, and chant and remember about all things. But as we progress, then one will have to become a specialist, one will have to specialize. Otherwise, if one is not focusing on the attainment of a particular mood, then it will not be sadhana and will not get our sadhya, a particular eternal ecstatic loving relation with Krishna. So why are we discussing this? Because in the morning arati, the morning when all the different types of paraphernalia are offered to Krishna in the morning, devotees sing different types of songs and different types of prayers. It's not uniform, it's not the same everywhere. So sometimes devotees may sing a song to their guru during the arati, to Radha and Krishna. So there's some mismatch here, because the song which is being sung is the glory of the guru, but the arati which is being offered to the deities of Radha and Krishna, or perhaps to Gornitai or Sitarama, whatever the deities are, and so on. So the actual singing, the kirtan of the arati and the deities who are being worshipped, it should be matched. And especially it should be matched with your Diksha mantra, the silent initiation mantra, which is never spoken out loud, and in tune with the development of the one particular mood or relationship that you are aiming to attain. So, in our Chaitanya Academy, in Gaudiya Smriti and so on, in the morning time, we sing the prayers to Guru before the deities become open, before the altar is open. Because it's essential to pray to the spiritual master first for his mercy and to all of our Guru Parampara. So we pray to our Gurudev and to Srila Prabhupada first, and then when the altar becomes open and we have darshan of Sri Krishna, Radha Krishna, then we sing this song. Oh, is it that? Yes. Mangala Sri Guru Gaura Mangala Murati. This poem was composed by my Param Gurudev, my Guru's Guru. He's also the sannyas guru of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, who received sannyas and received the Gopi Bhav mantra, the mantra which gives the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan from my Guru's Guru. So Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami has composed this song, and he's composed it for the benefit of all devotees. Why? Because all the verses of this song have multiple meanings. So there's an initial meaning that we become acquainted with, which is relevant to everyone. But behind each verse there's also a deep meaning, so that when the devotee advances and becomes specialized in performing sadhana for the attainment of the service of Radha and Krishna in Madhurya Rasa, then he will not have to change or have a separate arati from everyone else. He can continue to sing the same song, and the same song that inspired him and supported him in the preliminary, in the basic early days of his practice, will just be understood in a deeper and deeper way, and it will give inspiration and focus in his very confidential and esoteric aspirations for the service of Radha and Krishna. So, we'll begin the song. Mangala Sri Guru Gaura Mangala Murati Mangala Sri Radha Krishna First verse. So the first thing we notice here, Mangala. The word Mangal means auspicious. Auspicious. Generally, the living beings in this world are simply, by the force of their own past impressions, they're impelled by their karma to engage in more karma and perpetuate the cycle of birth and death. So the lives of the general persons are not mangal, they're not auspicious. But the life of a devotee is full of auspiciousness. That means his future prospect is becoming brighter and brighter. He's getting closer and closer to the ultimate beatitude, to his spiritual perfection. So that is a Mangala. The Mangala, the auspiciousness in our life, it only comes about by the blessing of a saint. Everywhere in the scripture you will see this word, Yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means, by chance, Narad Muni appeared at that place. Or Yadrichaya, just as Parikshit Maharaj sat down on the bank of the Ganges and was prepared to accept his fate that in 7 days he would die. Then Yadrichaya, Shukadev Goswami appeared there. So whenever a great saint appears on the scene, then you'll find in the scripture this word is mentioned, Yadrichaya, by good fortune. Or somehow or other, by chance. But what does it really mean? In Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said, Yadrichaya means Yadrichaya Kenapi Parama Swatantra Bhagavat Bhakta Sangha Tat Kripa Jata Mangaludayena. The Bhagavat Bhaktas, the pure transcendental saints who have realized Sri Krishna, are not under the control of karma. And therefore, they are not controlled by karma or destiny to move in this world. They are moving freely. They have Swaira Charitra. That means they are completely independent. Even Krishna is not controlling them. They control Krishna by their love. So how great are the Bhagavat Bhakta? So, Paramasvatantra, Bhagavat Bhakta, the supremely independent saints, the devotees of Krishna, are wandering independently in this world. And when they come and they meet with some living entities, by their smile, by their glance, by their blessing, in any way, they bless the living entities with faith. Only seeing person who has realized God, then the feeling comes, I also believe in God. It's actually inexplicable. It's not something that you can calculate. It's not an intellectual adjustment, even. It's just, you see someone who loves God, and you feel like, I also want to love God. And that's the blessing. It's called Vishesh Sanskar, an intense impression manifests in your chitta by grace. And we now become under the control of that impression. And we want to serve the Supreme Lord. So, Parama Swatantra Bhagavad Bhakta Sangha Tat Kripa Jata Mangalodaya. Auspiciousness means the awakening in our life of great fortune and faith in God that came to us by a blessing due to the association of a saint. Beautiful. So this is Mangala. And this Mangala, this auspiciousness, gradually unfolds in our life, and it leads to, Mangala is also a synonym for Rati, or love. It leads to, ultimately, the maturation of pure spontaneous love for Krishna. And so this is why we attend Mangalartik. If you attend Mangalartik in the morning, your whole day will be auspicious. And if you attend Mangalartik every day, your whole life will be auspicious. And one day we'll attain Rati, pure love for Sri Krishna. So here we begin, Mangala Sri Guru Gaura. Here, first we remember Guru, the spiritual master, because it's our spiritual master whose grace has awakened auspiciousness in our life. Sri Guru Gaura. Gaura means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because the spiritual master is wandering here, there and making kirtan. It's an extension of the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In this Kali Yuga, Sri Krishna and Radhika became in one form and appeared in this world, performing the pastime of a saint. And that is Gauranga. And then the disciples, the followers, the Anugatjan, the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is our Guru Parampara. They're extending that pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through time until this present day and delivering his mercy and auspiciousness to us. Another deep meaning here is that the advanced devotees, they want to become absorbed in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, which are taking place in that early moment in the morning. But that realm of meditation, that realm of internal experience is highly inaccessible. It's very difficult, durlabh. It's very difficult to attain. But if one will first remember Gauranga Mahaprabhu, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing at that time in the morning, and give pranams, bow down to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his auspicious Leela, then by his blessing, the meditation on Radha Krishna's Leela takes place very naturally. Therefore, it is said that Gaura Prema Rasarnave Saitaranga Jiva Dube Se Radha Madhavantaranga. Those persons who sink in the ocean of love for Gauranga, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then they naturally, automatically become the associates of Radha and Krishna in Radha Krishna Leela. My Gurudev used to say, if you dunk under the water of the Ganges at Nidai Ghat in Navadvip, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's holy dham, then you go under the water, and when you come out of the water, you'll see you're in Keshi Ghat in Vrindavan. And so the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are like the portal. They're the back door into the very secret pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he said, Krishna Leela Amrita Sa Tara Shata Shata Da Dasadika Bahija Hoite Sri Chaitanya Leela Hoy Sarovara Akshay Manohansa Charahatate. Krishna Leela is the Amrita, the essence of all immortal delicious nectar. And the pastimes of Krishna are like streams flowing, hundreds of streams flowing in all 10 directions. But where are these streams flowing from? Sri Chaitanya Leela Hoy Sarovara Akshay. There is one reservoir. Akshay Sarovar, an inexhaustible reservoir, and that is Gaura Leela. Gaura Leela, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are an inexhaustible reservoir from which thousands of streams of Radha Krishna Leela are flowing in all directions. Therefore, Manohansa Charata Tahate, he said, may my heart become like a swan gliding on the lake of Gaura Leela. So first of all, we bow down to Guru, and by his mercy, by his permission, we approach Gauranga, and by the mercy of Gauranga, when we bow down to his Leela, then internally we have a spurti, or the awakening of the realization of Radha Krishna's Leela. What I'm explaining to you is called Bhajan Chaturya. Chaturya means cunningness, cleverness, skill. Many persons, they cannot realize Radha and Krishna because they don't have skill. They don't know the art of how to do bhajan. So the art of how to enter into these confidential pastimes is hinted at here. First, remember Guru, the spiritual master. By his mercy, remember Gauranga in the early morning. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu is waking up in the morning, tears are flowing from his eyes. Why? Because he's remembering how Radha and Krishna are waking up in the morning. So Gaura Leela is called Udbodak Leela. Udbodak Leela means the pastime that awakens your realization of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. So don't try to go directly to Radha and Krishna. First remember Guru, then remember Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then by his mercy will awaken the remembrance of Radha Krishna. So the next word is Mangala Murti, the auspicious Murti. What is the auspicious Murti? That is Radha and Krishna embracing. Because at the end of night, Mangalati is before the sun rises. So at the end of Radha and Krishna are sleeping, and they are embracing each other, and they're sleeping together. That is the auspicious form of Radha and Krishna. So Mangala Sri Radha Krishna Yugala Priti. How auspicious is the Yugala Priti? The Priti. Priti means affection between the Yugal, the divine couple, Radha and Krishna. So this is a wonderful thing. Srimati Radhika herself, she said, Yat sneya pura vrita bhajana rajitaika vartyagra vatyamal deepa yugam chakasti tats chaitaretara tamo panudat paruksham anandayet akila pashva gata sadali. Radharani one day, she was explaining to one Saki. She said, just imagine a deep, the oil lamp. You know, in a temple, they often have these big brass candelabras, and at the top there's an area and it's filled with fragrant oil. And then a wick is dipped into the oil and one end of the wick is lit. And so then that flame is illuminating the temple. So there's like a temple candle and it's filled with fragrant oil. But the wick is not dipped in and lit at one end. There's one wick and it's been folded in half, and the middle part was dipped in the oil, and two ends come out from the oil, and they've both been lit. And so there are two flames coming from one wick, burning the same fragrant oil. You see? So there are two flames. Flames look like teardrops, you can see. They're like teardrops of light. So Radharani said, actually, Krishna and I, we are like that. We are one soul. My soul and Krishna's soul are one, like the wick of that lamp. And our soul is immersed in the fragrant oil of sneha, love and affection. And our bodies, though our bodies are separate, our bodies are like the two teardrops of light, the two flames. And so this flame is illuminating that flame, and that flame is illuminating the other flame, and the two flames are illuminating all 8 directions. So then in this example, the power of illumination is what? Sneha, love. One heart is there shared by Radha and Krishna, but they have 2 bodies. Krishna, a form as a beautiful cowherd boy with the complexion of a dark fresh rain cloud, and Radhika, the form of a most beautiful princess, cowherd girl, daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, with a shining golden complexion and completely absorbed in loving service to Sri Krishna. These are the 2 bodies, Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna aichi sada ekahi swarup lila rasa ashwadite dhani dui rup. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Pad said, Radha and Krishna are one in swarup, one in nature, but they have 2 bodies for the relishment of the rasa, the flavors of their loving pastimes. So in this example, Krishna is illuminated by the love of Radhika. Radhika is illuminated by the love of Krishna, and all the 8 directions, that means the Astasakis, the 8 main friends of Radha Krishna, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Tungavidya, Induleka, Rangadevi and Sudevi, those 8 Sakis who are Radhika's expansions, they're illuminated by Radha Krishna's illumination of their love for each other. In other words, the only happiness that the Sakis know or experience is the happiness of Radha Krishna's meeting and Radha Krishna's love for each other. So this is called Yugala Priti, the love of the divine couple. If we come to a metaphysical position, we say God and His Shakti, the Supreme Lord, as the enjoyer and enjoyed, His male and female features. Yeah? But in the Leela, then no one knows any of those things. Just beautiful Radha and beautiful Krishna. So, there's a speciality of the love of Radha and Krishna, which you cannot find anywhere else. Because in the spiritual world, everyone has love. Everyone loves Krishna. But there's a speciality between the love of Krishna and Radhika, which is not found anywhere else. Srila Rupa Goswami described, Radha Madhavayor Eva Kwapi Bhava Kadapyaso Sajatya Vijatya Naiva Vichchijate Rati. The meaning of this is that Krishna's absorption in love for Radhika is never interrupted by anything. It's not interrupted by any type of love which is in a similar category or in a dissimilar category. For example, Krishna loves Radhika, but there are other gopis in other groups like Chandravali, and he loves Chandravali also. But when Krishna is playing with Radhika, at that time he forgets about Chandravali. But when Krishna is playing with Chandravali, at that time doesn't forget about Radhika. You should know this. So the Krishna's loving feeling and constant remembrance of Radhika is never interrupted by any mood, similar mood, another the type of romantic love, or any dissimilar mood even. Let's say a big demon. If a big demon comes and attacks the Brijvasis, and Krishna has to go to fight with them, even at that time he never forgets Srimati Radhika. Even if his mother is smothering him with parental love, but still he's remembering Radhika. Even if he's playing with his friends, he's wrestling with his friends, he's swimming in the river, climbing trees, whatever he's doing with his friends. But you should know, Krishna never for one moment forgets Radhika, and Radhika never for one moment forgets Krishna. Their love is so dense that nothing can penetrate or interrupt it in any way. So, Mangala Sri Radha Krishna Yugala Priti. It's a very nice way to start your day, don't you agree? Now we come to the second verse. Mangala Nishanta Lila Mangala Udoye Arati jage pakataridoye. So here, Mangala Nishanta Lila. Nisha means night and Anta means the end. Oh, now it is the auspicious Nishanta Lila. Mangala Uday, the auspicious Uday. Uday means awakening. The auspicious rising or awakening. So, Nishanta Lila has two meanings. One meaning, the end of the night, is a metaphorical meaning. And this is relevant to all devotees, even a very new devotee who's just walked through the door and is coming to Mangalati for the first time. In this metaphor, our many lifetimes in this material world, this is like a long night. A very long, dark night. But when we come to the path of bhakti and we're associating with devotees, and we wake up early in the morning and we sing for Krishna, now the long, dark night of our many lifetimes in this material world is coming to an end. So it's called Nishanta. Anta means the end of night pastimes. It means that very soon will become purified and will enter into the pastimes of Krishna, and our constant suffering and sorrow in the cycle of repeated birth and death will come to an end. So it's Nishanta Lila. In other words, we may still be in ignorance, we may still be in darkness, but some light, some spiritual light is now beginning to shine into our life, and our soul is gradually waking up from stupor and becoming alert to the devotion to the Supreme Lord. So this is the general meaning of Nishanta Lila, and it applies to everyone. Now for the advanced devotees, Nishanta Lila means that the Nitya Lila, the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna, they're going on eternally in a cycle. And that cycle is called Astakaliya Lila. That their spiritual day has its morning, noon, afternoon, evening, and early night, and midnight, And then comes around to the Nishanta, the end of night. Just before dawn, the sun is about to rise. And so, in the Nishanta Leela of Radha and Krishna, what happened, you have to know the backstory. The backstory is that in the evening time, Krishna, he said good night to everyone, Shubharatri, to his parents and to his friends, and he went into his bedchamber. And he lay down there waiting for everyone to go to sleep. At the same time, Radhika bids farewell and good night to her relatives and family members, her in-laws, because she's living with the in-laws, her mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and all those unsavory characters. Actually, they're all great, but the gopis, they feel them to be great obstacles. So we respect them from one perspective, but from another perspective, we consider them to be dangerous and difficult. Pricky persons. So Srimati Radhika, she gets in bed and she pretends to be sleeping, and she's just waiting for in-laws and everyone to go to sleep. And then both Radha and Krishna, when they're confident that everyone has gone to sleep, Radhika, along with her friends, she sneaks out of the house and goes for a secret rendezvous, passing through the forest, sometimes meeting in a beautiful kunj, a bower of flowers, in a creeper house, in a pavilion on the bank of the Jamuna, sometimes at Govardhan, sometimes in a cave of Govardhan Hill, and in different places. And she meets with Krishna, and along with the gopis, they sing and they dance, they drink some delicious honey wine, and so on. And then Radha Krishna retire into the secret place for their loving pastimes. And as the night is coming to an end, Radha Krishna are tired and they fall asleep in each other's arms. So this is where we join the pastime here. Mangala Nishanta Lila Mangala, all glories to the auspicious Nishanta Lila, that Radha and Krishna, they're asleep in each other's arms. They're so happy, they're so satisfied, their desires to meet are being fulfilled, because it's very difficult for them to meet. It's very difficult. There are many, many obstacles, but somehow, overcoming all obstacles, they're finally relishing some moments together, and they're in embrace and they're sleeping. This is called Nishanta Lila, and soon the sun is about to rise, so they will have to wake up, gather their things together, and quickly, and they'll quickly have to secretly return to their villages. Radharani will return to the village of Yavat, Krishna will return to the village of Nandagaon, and they'll have to do it very carefully in such a way that no one sees them. They don't get caught, and they can sneak back into their bedchambers, lie down, cover themselves with the sheets, and pretend that they're at home the whole night. So, this is the Nishanta Lila. It's very sweet because Radha and Krishna together, but it's also bittersweet because though they're together, there is the sunrise is about to come, and that will separate them. There's an inevitable and impending separation. So it's a most beautiful moment, Mangalartik. Radha Krishna together, they're so happy, relishing each other's love, but at the same time they also feel the impending separation to come. And so, in the second line, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshmaj prays, Mangala Arati Jage Bhakataridai. May the Mangala Arati, this worship of Radha Krishna, awaken in the heart of the devotee. Now, just a general devotee, without a Vishesh Sambandha Gyan, they come to the temple, they think, here is God, Krishna is God, and now we're going to worship Him. So first we're going to ring the bell, and we're going to offer some incense. You have to count the circles, right? 4 times to the feet, 2 times to the waist, not above the waist, because the smoke will go in his eyes. So then put the incense down, and then we'll offer the lamp. And it's 4 times to the feet, 2 times to the waist, 3 times around the face, and then 7 times around the whole body like this. So the ritual goes on. And some persons think, well, incense is fragrance. So that's the quality of earth. And the lamp is fire, that's the quality of fire. And then water is offered in a conscience, and then that's water. And the Krishna is found, and so that's air. And so because the 5 elements of the universe, they all belong to God, we worshipping God with the 5 elements. Like this. So, a person in Vaidhi Bhakti, they may consider in this way. But in Radha Nuga Bhakti, those who are focusing on the attainment of Krishna service in Vrindavan, then they can never think in this way. But rather, they remember how when Radha Krishna wake up, the Manjaris, the maidservants of Radha Krishna who enter into the Kunj, they are offering Arati. They take the deeps and they offer Arati to Radha Krishna. And it's not exactly a worship. You see, Mother Yashoda also offers Arati to Krishna when he returns in the evening from taking the cows to graze. So why would his mother worship him? So that's not the meaning. Arati means to receive someone or show the expression of love to someone. And the meaning is that when we offer Arati, one of the moods is that whatever difficulty or whatever problem or obstacle is there in your life, may I take that difficulty upon my head and may you be happy. Mm-hmm. This is why Mother Yashoda offers the deep to her son. It's not worshipping her son. It's a mood of such selfless love that you should be happy and you should have no difficulties and let all these difficulties come to me. This is the mood of Arati. Understand? Understand something? Yes? No? So here, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshavaj is saying, may the transcendental Arati awaken in my heart. But it hasn't awakened yet. Now in the next verse he says, Tomara nidraya jiva nidrita dadaya tavu jagarani vishva jagarita hoya. This has so many meanings. Now remember, we were speaking about the first meaning is the living entities are conditioned in this material world, and by the mercy of pure saints and the Supreme Lord, gradually their souls wake up and they become free. So, the awakening of the Supreme Lord is associated with a chance for the living entities to awaken. It's understood that the very manifestation of the creation of the whole world, it goes through cycles. It goes through cycles. So, when the Supreme Lord wants to create the world, he glances in the direction of Ramadevi, his Shakti, and her shadow is the material energy. And by his glance, then the universe, which was in a state of dissolution, it was dissolved completely. There was nothing, only a pure potential energy. By the glance of the Lord, then the creation takes place. And thus, Lord Brahma and then all the planets and all the living entities, they're released. And they continue in their karmas from before the previous destruction. So the universe is going on in cycles of creation, then everything is dissolved, there's a period of destruction, and then it's created again, and then it's dissolved again. The pralay is a bit like pressing the pause button. Because everyone's activities are going on, and then when the universe is dissolved, then all the living entities, they enter into the Supreme Lord's body, but they're in a state of suspended animation. And then when he wants to create the world again, by his glance, then the material energy manifests the world, and the living entities continue from where they left off. They have the same condition that they had. The state of play at the time of the dissolution is now continued at the time of the next creation. So, during the time of the dissolution, Tomara Nidra Jiva Nidrita Taraya. Darai means holding, and Nidrita means sleeping. At the time of dissolution, the Supreme Lord is holding all the living entities in a sleeping condition. And when the Supreme Lord himself wakes up and he wants to create the world again, then when he wakes up, then the creation begins to manifest and all the living entities become active in their various karmas in this world. So this is a general meaning. In this regard, there's a beautiful pastime. Once in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Jagannath Puri, and his devotees from Navadvip Dhalam and from Bengal, other places in Gaudadesh, they had come and they had spent 4 months of Chaturmasya with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and at the end of that, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, now you should return, go back to Navadvip, go back to Shikanda, go back to Kulia, go back to Bengal, back to your homes there. And you can come back next year. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was meeting with them and telling them to return, he was feeling so much separation that he would not see them now for almost a year. For 8 months he would not see them. And he began to glorify his own devotees. So one of those devotees, his name was Vasudev Datta. And he was glorifying, and as he was glorifying Vasudev Datta became shy. Because that's the nature of the devotee. When someone praises them, they feel embarrassed. Not like the material world. If someone praises us, well, yes, music to my ears. Here's another $100. Keep going. Don't stop. So a Vaishnava who's truly humble and feels that whatever service I've done was never enough. So he becomes embarrassed if someone will glorify him. So Vasudev Datta felt embarrassed and he prayed to Mahaprabhu with tears in his eyes. He said, I have one request. This is my request. All the souls in this world, they're suffering their karmas. Please give all their karmas to me. Let me suffer the karma of everyone and let them be freed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, O Vasudev Datta, it is not surprising that you have so much compassion and you've prayed in this way. Why? Because you are the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. And Mahaprabhu revealed to him his identity. You are the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj also prayed in this way to Lord Nrsimhadev. Give me all the karmas of all the living entities. Let me suffer, but let them be free. He said, look, you know that the Supreme Lord is so powerful. He can free all the living entities from their karma without giving the karma to you. He's not bound to settle the accounts in that way. He can free all the living entities. And in fact, it's the only activity of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, that Bhritya Vancho Purti Bino Anyatra Nahi. It is said that Krishna has no other activity than to just fulfill the desires of his devotees. And so, because you have prayed for all living entities, therefore they must be delivered. Because if a pure saint desires good fortune, auspiciousness for anyone, just by that saint's desire, that soul becomes a Vaishnava. He himself becomes a devotee. This is why it's so important to have the company of advanced saints and try to serve and please them. And simply by their desire, then we become transformed. It may take a little time. But that time in the scale of eternity is nothing, not even the blink of an eye. So it's very fast. Though from our perspective, it may seem to take some time. But when a Vaishnava has mercy and prays to Krishna on our behalf, then we must also become a Vaishnava, a pure devotee. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have prayed for all living entities, and therefore it must be that everyone will be delivered. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from the Shruti Stuti, the prayers of the Vedas personified. It's described there that before the creation, the Supreme Lord was sleeping. And in this form of the Lord, who is responsible for the creation, he does not wake up in the morning with an alarm clock. But rather the Vedas personified approach him and they offer prayers, and they're called the Shruti Stuti, the prayers of the Shruti, the Vedas personified. You can find them at the end of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 87. So the first prayer, when the Vedas enter the place where the Lord is resting before the creation, they pray to him, Jaya 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 Jam Ajita Dosha Gribita Gunam Tamasiya Datmana Samaviruda Samasta Bhagaha Agajagadokasam Akila Shaktya Kwachita Jayatmaha Chacharatonu Charen Nigamaha. And there are many other prayers, but this first one was quoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Vasudeva Datta. He said, "Oh my Lord, you are Ajit, you are unconquerable. Wake up, and manifest your internal spiritual potency." The internal spiritual potency is full of divine opulence, and it removes all faults, it removes all ignorance, and bestows perfection. Your material energy is in a potential state. Sometimes you manifest the creation and sometimes you dissolve the creation. And when you manifest the creation, there are moving and non-moving living entities. So, oh my Lord, now wake up, manifest the creation, and within that creation, which is your inferior external material energy, cause the appearance of your internal spiritual energy of devotion, by which the living entities who are in illusion become liberated and attain pure love. And so this is the prayer by which the Vedas wake up the Supreme Lord, and they inspire him to manifest the creation again at the end of the dissolution, the end of the pralaya, at the end of the annihilation period. Now it has a very deep meaning. What does it signify? First, it signifies that the very purpose of the world is to give us a chance to attain our perfection. That's why the creation is there. In fact, that's directly stated by Narad Muni in the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There, Narad Muni, he says, Yada siksrikshu pura atmana paro rajasrijatesha pritaksvamayaya satvam viktrityasu Rirangsu Ishvara Shaishamanastana Irayatyaso. The meaning is, the Supreme Lord, when he wants to give bodies to his devotees, then the creation which had been annihilated, it was in the state of annihilation, becomes manifest. Rajasrajit Aisha Prataksvamayaya. The world becomes manifest by Rajagun, the mode of passion, causes the creation. Then through Sattva Gun, the Lord maintains the universe for some time, and through Tamagun, then again he destroys it. But the reason he manifests the world is because he wants to give bodies to his devotees. Yada sikshu pura atmana paro. Now what does that mean? It means this. In the previous creation, there were some devotees. They were hearing and chanting, and their love was just starting to develop, but they had not become perfect yet. But then Mahavishnu breathed in, game over, and all the universes are annihilated. Then there's a long period of annihilation. But at that time, the Supreme Lord is feeling separation. Oh, my devotee, you were just about to come to me. But then the annihilation came. And so then the Supreme Lord, by his glance, by his desire, he manifests the world again, and his primary intention in the creation is to give a body to that soul who had almost become perfect. Not yet, but almost. And the Lord will create the world to give a body to that devotee, so that he can complete his practice, he can complete his sadhana and become mature, and then he'll come to the spiritual world. And so the Supreme Lord's actual impetus or incentive in creating the world is just the love of his devotees. And everyone else, they're just the extras. In that drama, everyone's the extras. And until they get the mercy of one of those devotees, and then the Lord may make the next creation to give them a chance. Because the Supreme Lord only interacts. His Swarup only interacts with his Swarup Shakti. He only knows love. He does not, has no realization. He knows that Maya illusion exists, but he's never in illusion himself, and he does not interact with illusion. So, the deep conclusion is this, according to Narada Muni in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He's saying that the cause of the creation of the whole universe, of the whole creation waking up, is only Krishna's love for his devotee. And that energy which makes the universe manifest is Kal, time. Time. And therefore the meaning of time, the meaning of every is what? Krishna's love for his devotee. Understand this fact. The meaning of time is Krishna's love for his devotee. The meaning of the creation is Krishna's love for his devotee. The meaning of everything is only love. This is the truth. So, we should not hover around in the material just as the extras. We have to become connected with the saints and connected with that love, connected with our ultimate purpose. So here, this is what is being described. Oh my Lord, at the time of the dissolution, all the living entities are sleeping in a state of suspended animation. But my Lord, when you wake up, when the Vedas personified, they chant these prayers, then you wake up, and then all the jivas, they become active again and endeavoring. And especially those who are devotees, they get to finish, to complete their course of perfection. So Tava Jagarani Vishwa Jagat, oh my Lord, when you wake up, the whole universe wakes up. Now, that's the meaning from the perspective of the metaphysics. And now the meaning for the advanced devotees, it means that when Krishna is sleeping, holding Tomara Nidraya Jiva, Jiva can mean the living entities in the previous interpretation, but now in the Rasik, in the confidential esoteric interpretation, Tomar Jiva, your Jiva, oh Krishna, your life is held in your arms. That is Radhika. Radhika is Krishna's life. Without Radhika, Krishna cannot live. So, oh Krishna, your life, Radhika, is held in your arms, and when you wake up, then the whole world wakes up. In other words, all the animals wake up, all the birds wake up in Vrindavan. So it's a hidden description of the Nishanta Lila. We're coming back to the Nishanta Lila, the pre-dawn pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So in these first verses, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav is praying with double meanings. And now in the next verse, he says to Sri Krishna, Shubha Drishti Karo Ebe Jagatera Prati Jagu Karidoye Mora Sumangala Rati Shubha Drishti Karo Ebe. Oh Prabhu, oh my Lord, Ebe means now. Shubha Drishti Karo means cast your auspicious glance upon me, upon the whole world actually. Jagatera Prati means Jagat, the world, Prati means towards. So, oh my Lord, now you are waking up, open your beautiful lotus eyes and cast your merciful auspicious glance upon the whole world. And by doing this, Jaguka Ridaya Mora Sumangalarati, your glance will awaken in my heart the most auspicious rati, loving feelings for you. So, now if you're a pujari, is anyone here a pujari? I mean, do you have deities? Who's serving deities? So then you know in the morning you have to wake up your deities. So first, who do you wake up first? Sri Guru. Yeah. So touching the lotus feet of Guru, you say the mantra, Tishta Tishta Shri Guru, Chajoni Jam Kripalaya. Oh Gurudev, please give up your sleep and mercifully wake up. And then who do you wake up? Gauranga. And you touch the feet of Gauranga. What do you say? Okay, we have some spontaneous servants here. Gauranga, please get up. So, in Vaidhi there are some mantras, and we should try to follow even if your mood is spontaneous, outwardly the devotee should follow Vaidhi Bhakti outwardly, even if they have this very spontaneous love is awakened in the heart in the advanced state. But just to set an example for others, they will still follow. So Tishta Tishta Shri Guru Chaitanya, Tishta Tishta Gauranga Jahini Dram Mahaprabhu Shubha Drishti Pradhanena Trilokyam Mangalam Kuru. Oh Mahaprabhu, please wake up, give up your sleep and glance upon the world with your merciful glance. Shubha Drishti Pradhanena Trilokyam Mangalam Kuru, and make all the three worlds auspicious by your glance. Very beautiful. And then if you are serving Radha and Krishna, then you wake up Radha and Krishna. Go Gokulananda Yashodananda Vana Utishtarari Asadam Prata Asis Jagatpati. Oh, you who give joy to the cowherd boys and the gopis, and to increase the joy of Madhya Yashoda, and you who are in the company of Shrimati Radhika in this early morning, kindly wake up. So those prayers are there. The Pujari wakes up the deities. And so the devotee is meditating on the glance of the Lord coming to him. This is very important. We should not think that when we come to the deity that we've come to see the deity. Because by our material eyes we cannot see the deity. But rather we should think that we have come to be seen by Krishna. That Krishna will look upon us. This is why when we give pranam, we bow down. We don't bow down facing the deity. You don't bow down facing the deity because the ego will come and come to see. But we bow down with the left side to the deity, that we've come to be seen. Because we don't have the power to see the transcendental realm. It is a plane superior to us. Because we are souls and our soul is superior to the material energy, we have some ability to see what is inferior to us, but we cannot see what is above us. So that ego of being drik, the seer, must be given up, and we have to accept the position of being drishya, being who is seen by God. And that is expressed here. Oh my Lord, please cast upon me your merciful glance. Now, in Vedanta, it's understood that a glance is like this. If there is a tank of water and there's a tap, and the tap leads to the channels for the irrigation in a field. Have you ever seen rice fields? So the rice fields have in between them some irrigation channels, and the farmers, sometimes they have a lake or a pump, and they pump the water from the lake into the irrigation channel, and then it follows the channels and it goes to whichever field the water is, the channel leads to. And when the water passes down that channel, then it spreads out and it takes on the shape of the field. So if the field is rectangular, then the water takes on the shape of that rectangular field. So in the same way, according to Vedanta, when we look at something, then a tejasic, that means a rajasic portion of our chitta, comes out through the eye, and then it takes on the shape of whatever's in front of us. And then we see the object as being a transform of chitta vritti. In other words, our perceptions are chitta vrittis. They are the modifications of our own chitta. And so it's understood in Vedanta that when you look at something, some portion of your chitta goes out, envelops that and takes on its shape, and then relays that shape and qualities to your soul. It's through the chitta vritti, through the modification of chitta. So, similarly, should be understood that when the Supreme Lord looks upon someone with his mercy, then his actual energy of mercy is coming out from his eyes and enveloping us and blessing us. So it's a wonderful thing when we come in the morning to have darshan of the deities. It means we're coming before Krishna, that he'll open his beautiful lotus eyes and mercy will come out of his eyes and envelop us and awaken our love. So that's what Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami is praying for here. Shubha Drishti Karo Prabhu Jagatera. Oh my Lord, wake up and cast your merciful glance upon the world and look upon me. And by your merciful glance, awaken love in my heart so that you can see me, but I cannot see you. If you glance upon me with mercy, then I will be empowered to see you. Just like the sun, you cannot see the sun by your own power. If the sun is set, it doesn't matter if you have a torch or a candle or a spotlight or searchlights. You cannot find the sun. Only when the sun itself rises and the rays of the sun reach us, we can see the sun. So just as the sun is only seen by the power of the sun, so we don't have the power to see God, but we can only see him by his own power when it comes to us through his merciful glance. So in the morning when we come to serve our deities, we pray for their merciful glance by which we'll be blessed to realize, oh, you are not a statue, you are not wood, you are not stone. Pratima Nahituri Sakshat Brajendanandan. You are not a deity, you are directly the transcendental beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj. This vision will come by the merciful glance of the Lord. So now we come to the next verse. Now notice, when we sing this verse, then we change the melody. Shubha Drishti Karo Prabhu Jagatero Prati Jagu Karidaya Mora Sumangala Arati. Then Mayura Sukadi Sari Katapikaraja Mangala Jagara Hetu Kariche Viraja. This rag is the Bhairavi rag. And Bhairavi rag is associated with the dawn, pre-dawn moment. It invokes the atmosphere of pre-dawn and the Nishanta pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Now, the reason why we changed the raga there, because the previous raga was not actually a classical raga, it was more of a Lokik raga. It is a folk melody. And so the folk melody is associated with the sadhak form. In other words, this poem by Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj, he's rising early in the morning and he's taking his japamala before Mangalartik. He's taking his japamala and he's chanting Hare Krishna and he's praying to Krishna for Sri Krishna's mercy. And as he takes shelter of Sri Krishna, as he remembers Guru and Gauranga, then he begins to transition from external consciousness into internal consciousness. You see? So in Raganuga Bhakti, the devotee has sadhak form, that's this body that he's practicing in. But by praying and chanting in that form, gradually we move from external consciousness and become oblivious to the external world and go inside. From Bahya Dasha, external consciousness, into Antar Dasha, into the internal consciousness. And that's where in the internal consciousness, in that trance, one begins to realize the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So here he's saying, Mayura Sukari Sari Katapikaraja. It means peacocks are singing. Where? In Vrindavan. Sukadi, Sari. The male Suk means male parrots, and Sari, female parrots, are singing and speaking, glorifying Radha and Krishna. Kata Pikaraj, and the Pikaraj, that means cuckoo. The cuckoo birds are singing. They're called Pika because they say Pika, Pika. P means Priyatan, my lover. Ka, where are you? Pika. Oh my beloved, where are you? So, Mangala Jagana Hetu Karite Viraj, and the sound of all the birds in the forest of Vrindavan is the cause of the Jagara, that is the awakening of Radha and Krishna. And so here in the prayer, we're moving from praying to Guru, praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, praying from the vantage point of the sadhak, the external form, physical body, and then praying for the merciful glance of the Lord, and then by the glance of the Lord, Rati, love awakens in the heart, and the external world begins to disappear, and we become transferred into our Siddharup, into our spiritual body, in the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So what is going on there? We mentioned it's the end of night, and Radha and Krishna are lying sleeping in an embrace. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj in the form of Vinod Manjari and other Manjaris, maidservants of Radha and Krishna like Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, my Gurudev, they have all taken rest outside. There's a beautiful pavilion in the forest of Vrindavan, covered with flowering, the jasmine flowers. And Radha Krishna have gone to sleep, and their maidservants have laid down outside for a few moments, sleeping. At that time, a very gentle breeze begins to blow. And even the bumblebees have been sleeping also. And when the bumblebees are touched by a gentle breeze, suddenly the little bumblebees wake up and they begin to hum. Brinda Devi, actually here in Syracuse, there's a beautiful deity of Brinda Devi. So at that time, Brinda Devi was also taking a little nap. But as soon as the bumblebees begin, as soon as they begin to hum, then Brinda Devi realizes, the morning is just about to come. And Brinda Devi wakes up, and Brinda Devi is the goddess of Vrindavan. She's the fairy godmother, if you like. Not mother, because she doesn't have any children, but she's the fairy of the forest of Vrindavan, and all nature is at her command. So then Brinda Devi, she tells the flowers to bloom. She tells the peacocks, spread your feathers and begin to call, Kiko. She tells the parrots, wake up and glorify Radha and Krishna, because parrots can actually speak language. That's the speciality of parrots. And she tells the cuckoo birds, you should start cooing like this. And so as the birds begin to sing, then the manjaris, they also wake up. And what do? Panic. As soon as the manjaris wake up, they sit up and look around and they panic, thinking, oh my God, and I may have overslept. Because their whole life is service to Radha and Krishna. And they think, what if Radha and Krishna have already woken up and then I've missed the chance to serve them? That will be a terrible disaster. So the first feeling of the manjaris in the morning is panic. Did I oversleep? Have you ever had that experience? Yeah. But this is actually one type of ecstasy related to their attachment to the service of Radha and Krishna. So the manjaris suddenly sit up and look around and notice, it's still dark. And they peep through the lattice windows of the pavilion and see Radha and Krishna are still sleeping. And so then, generally, the sadhak who's very advanced in Raganuga Bhakti, he'll wake up and then go and look for his Gurudev, his manjari form of Gurudev, and touching her feet, ask her psyche to wake up also. This is the meaning of Tishta Shri Guru, actually, the internal meaning. So that manjari will wake up, the other manjari who's the Guru in this world, in that world, they're just friends. Yeah? And wake up, and then they'll immediately begin to prepare their services. They'll have to grind some chandan. They'll have to collect some fresh and fragrant water. Someone will string a garland of flowers, and so on. And they all become busy in their services before Radha and Krishna wake up. In the meantime, Radha and Krishna, they're lying in each other's embrace, and the sound of the birds they realized, oh, morning is coming now. So they woke up, but they don't want to leave. So, do you ever have that feeling? When you wake up, you don't get out of bed. Right? So, because Radha and Krishna are so happy in each other's embrace, they're awake, but they don't even bother to open their eyes. And then Brinda Devi tells the cockerel to crow. And Radharani gives a curse to the cockerel. Oh, don't go in hell. Don't take me away from my Krishna. And then there's no more sound of the cockerel. So then she thinks, oh good, he went to hell. Now morning has been cancelled. She thinks like that. Because if the cockerel won't call, then everyone will want to wake up, the sun will not rise or anything. Morning has been cancelled, I'll just stay here with Krishna. Of course, she has no enmity towards the cockerel. It's just that sometimes, out of love, you can speak. Radharani loves all the creatures in Vrindavan. It just means be quiet. So don't think that Radhika has any negative feeling like that. It's just that people who love each other, they can sometimes speak like that. Just like if a mother has a son and the son has a bicycle and he's going very fast, she'll be very careful. But he's not listening. They say, okay, then go and kill yourself then. It doesn't mean kill you. It means I love you so much. But you see? So Radhika is like that. Even if you tell the cockerel, oh, go and go in hell, it's actually only love. So then she continues to sleep a little bit more. So then Brinda Devi has told the parrots, oh, go and sing for Radha and Krishna. So then the male parrots, the shukas, like Daksha and Vichakshana, they come into the kunj and begin to sing. And female parrots, like the Shukshmadi and Manjubasini, the female parrots, they also come and they begin to sing for Radha and Krishna. Oh Krishna, oh Gopal, you are the joy, you give joy to everyone in Braja. Oh Radhika, daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, now you should quickly awaken. Everyone looks up to you to be a good standard of behavior. And if it's discovered that you left your home in the middle of the night, then who will teach others proper behavior? The night is called Kshanada. One synonym for the word night, Ratri, is a Kshanada. So, the one parrot sings to Radhika, the night is Kshanada. Why? Because it gives Kshana a moment of happiness. The night gave a moment of happiness. Actually, Lord Brahma made the night last for millions of years. But because of the intensity of Radha Krishna's love, then it seemed to pass in a moment. So one parrot says the night is Kshanada. It gives a moment of happiness. But now it's become Kshanada. Shan can also mean festival, and that can come from do dhatu, to cut. And now it is cutting. It is bringing an end to your festival of love. So Radha and Krishna, please wake up. And in this way, on the order of Brinda Devi, the parrots, male and female parrots, are singing in beautiful poetry to encourage Radha and Krishna to start to make a movement in the right direction. So then, Radha and Krishna, they cannot open their eyes very well because they're so tired from the dancing, singing and loving pastimes. Their eyes are rolling and they sit up and stretch. The maidservants are looking through the lattice windows and they see there are so many jeweled lamps here and there. And on one side, all the jeweled lamps are glowing with a bluish color. And on the other side, all the lamps are glowing with a golden color. The poets describe in this way. It's a very polite way of saying that Radha Krishna are not dressed. Poetry is always like this. Nothing should be expressed directly, but only in a very tasteful and beautiful way. So the lamps on the side of the kunj, one side of the kunj, the lamps are glowing blue, the other they're glowing golden. And Radha and Krishna stretch, and Krishna's body looks like a bow made of blue lotuses. And Radhika's body looks like a bow made of golden champak flowers. and they look at each other and they yawn. And as they yawn, their teeth are sparkling. And just as the pujari offers a lamp, illuminating Krishna by offering the lamp, so the light from the sparkling teeth of Radhika is offering Arati to the face of Krishna. Oh. And the light from the sparkling teeth of Krishna is offering Arati to the face of Srimati Radhika. And then they embrace each other and fall back to sleep. Now Brinda Devi is thinking, I have to try something else. So now she's telling the cuckoos to sing. So she's telling more and more birds to sing, and the sound of the birds is coming together. And the maidservants, the manjaris, who are outside looking through the window, they understand, now it's our time, we'll have to serve. And so they begin to enter into the kunj, and there's a beautiful sound of their tinkling ankle bells as they enter into the kunj. So at that time, they see that Radharani's hair has become entangled in her earring and in her nose ring. And Radhika is just trying to pull her hair out of the nose ring and earring, but she can't do it. She's just too sleepy to cope with such a challenge. So at that time, then the maidservants come, and with very nimble fingers, they quickly entangle Radhika's disheveled hair from her various ornaments. Sometimes her hair is entangled in Krishna's ornaments, or Krishna's hair is entangled in Radhika's ornaments, so they're kind of tied together by the ropes of Cupid. And the maidservants come and unentangle them. So then, finally, they sit up, and the maidservants, they take a pot with a fragrant rose water, and they dip some cloths in the water and begin to wipe the bodies of Radha and Krishna. Why? Because the kumkum, the cosmetic from the chest of Radhika, is on the feet of Krishna. The kajal from the eyes of Krishna are on the lips of Radhika. The lipstick from Radhika is on the body of Krishna. So in this way, they're actually decorated with each other's various decorations, cosmetics. Now their cosmetics have become successful by swapping over. At that time, one manjari is very, very clever, will come with a mirror and hold up a mirror before Srimati Radhika. And Radhika will take it from her hand and look at herself. And she can see, before, when she was coming to meet with Krishna on the night before, her hair was all very tightly braided and decorated with flowers, and her makeup was done very beautifully with different paintings on her face and on her body. And now she sees her reflection and everything is smudged everywhere and in a mess. And she looks and says, oh, now my life is successful. Why? Because I've been enjoyed by Krishna. She lives just to give happiness to Krishna. Now the fruit of all my decorations, the fruit of my whole life came because I've been enjoyed by Krishna. And so she's not like an ordinary person takes a mirror in the morning and they're trying to whatever, you know, or they take a selfie in the mirror or something. Like, it's just vanity, it's just pure vanity. Pure vanity. But Radhika is staring in the mirror at herself. But it's pure love. Only pure. How successful my life is. I've been enjoyed by Sri Krishna, and she doesn't want to put the mirror down. So then one maidservant comes with the cloth and the water and starts to wipe off all the marks, basically all the evidence. Because no one should see the evidence that Radha and Krishna met together. So they're removing all the evidence like this. And this is the meaning in the Mangalatik. It's a little bit darker in the kunj, and they're taking a lamp to see where the cosmetics are on the different places of Radha Krishna's body. And then they take the cloth and the water and they wipe away the evidence. And so this is the meaning of the offering of the paraphernalia. We offer a light, that means looking at the beautiful forms of Radha and Krishna, and then a cloth and offer water, like this. So this is the inner meaning of the Mangalatik for the advanced devotees. So then, the manjaris, seeing the beauty of Radha Krishna, they think, what is this? Usually, if there's a servant and they serve their master, then after they've served the master, they get rewarded. But in our case, Even when we were just looking through the windows, we hadn't done any service, but we already rewarded with a vision of the beauty of Radha and Krishna. That reward was the most precious thing for the eyes of Radha Krishna's maidservants. So at that time, they're serving Radha and Krishna, and then Radhika, she says to Sri Krishna, seeing herself in the mirror, "Oh, you have made an offense. You have made an offense. Why? Because you have worshipped Cupid, but you have not cleansed and put away the paraphernalia." You see, if you're a pujari and you worship a deity, then you can't just do the worship and leave all the things on the side. You have to take all the paraphernalia for puja, and you have to wash everything and prepare it for the next puja. So Radharani is saying, in the same way, when Radha and Krishna met, Krishna has worshipped Cupid, the god of love. That means it's a metaphor for their loving pastimes. And Radhika herself was the paraphernalia, but she's all in disarray now. And so Krishna, she's saying, you can't just leave the paraphernalia if in the worship of Cupid like this. It will be an offense. And so that's Radhika's very polite way of saying, I don't want that my Sakhis and Manjaris should decorate me. You should do it yourself. You see? Love is like this. It's never expressed directly. So in a poetic way, you say, you've made an offense to the deity of Cupid because you haven't taken care of the paraphernalia of his worship. Then Krishna realized, now I have a very good chance. I can serve and decorate Radhika myself. So then Sri Krishna, he begins to paint the Patravali. He takes musk and paints the vines and leaves in dark musk on the forehead of Radhika. He takes the blue lotus flowers and places them on her ears. He takes a beautiful necklace of jewels and puts it around her neck. And then seeing the astonishing beauty of Radhika, see Krishna, he cannot contain his enthusiasm. He says, Nitam te punapuktatam brahmarakaye kasturika patrakam netrabhyam vifalikritam kuvalaya dvandam chakarnapitam harischa smitakanti bangavir alam pishtanupeshi krita radhe kim radhe tavamandanena nitaram anga asijopita. Krishna, after decorating the face of Radhika with beautiful paintings of leaves, vines and leaves, patravali, after putting the blue lotus flowers over her ears and decorating her chest with a necklace of jewels, he said, what was the use of my decoration? It's all redundant. Why? Nitam te puna uktatam brahmakarai kasturika patrakam. If a poet will write a poem, and in that poem he will repeat himself, then that is called the puna ukti dosh, the fault of redundancy. Why did you say that? You already said it earlier in the poem. Why are you repeating yourself? So that will be a defect in the poetry called puna ukti dosh, the fault of redundancy. So Krishna is saying, my decorations of painting leaves in the musk on your forehead have the fault of redundancy. Why? Because your beautiful curling locks of hair on your fringe, which are falling onto your face, are more beautiful than this black curling vines that I've painted on your face. So my decoration is redundant because your own natural decoration is already more beautiful than the decoration that I have painted on you. Not only that, but netrabhyam vipalikritam, I placed the blue lotus flowers on your ears. These are also redundant. They've become useless, vifal, fruitless. Why? Because your eyes are so big and long that they reach around almost to the ears, and Radhika's eyes are beautiful blue color. And due to, if a person's heart is steady, then they have a steady glance. But if a person's heart is turbulent with so many feelings, then the eyes are always darting here and there. So because Radhika has so many feelings in the heart, her blue eyes are always flashing here and there, this way and that. Almost, and so her ears become decorated with the blue luster of her own eyes. So Krishna says, look, the decorations on your forehead have been defeated and made redundant by your beautiful curling locks. And the blue lotus flowers I placed on your ears are made redundant by your beautiful restless eyes. And this garland, this necklace of jewels I placed on your chest has become redundant. Why? Because Radhika is somewhat shy and she looks down and she's smiling. And when she's smiling, the glow of her teeth is reflected on her chest like a necklace. And so, Haraschasmita kanti bandive alam pishta anupeshi krita. Pishta anupeshi. This is a very beautiful phrase Krishna is using. If you have some wheat, you can grind it into flour. But if you have some flour, what's the benefit of grinding it? You don't get any benefit. So that's called pishta anupeshi. That means grinding that which has already been ground. It's a complete waste of time. It's a redundant activity. So Krishna said, my decorating you with this necklace of jewels is also redundant, because the shining reflection of your smile upon your chest, it is just like pishta. I am just grinding what has already been ground. Oh Radhika, Kim Radheta Vamandanena, what is the use of all of your ornaments when your own beauty is more beautiful than all the ornaments? So then Radhika said to Sri Krishna, oh, when I came here, I had beautiful paintings on my body, and now you've put the necklace on my chest before the paintings are completed. I think you're not very expert in this decorating service. So at that time, all the manjaris, the maid servants of Radhika, the other gopis are older, they can't be there at the time. This is a very, very private and intimate moment. And the gopis who are roughly the same age as Radhika, her contemporaries, they're at some distance. But the younger ones, they're allowed to be very close at that time. And when Radhika chastises Krishna, you don't know the secrets of how to decorate a woman. Why did you give the garland before you gave the paintings? The sandalwood paintings on my chest. Then all the young manjaris, they're giggling. Radhika. So there's a very beautiful scene in the Kunj then. And then Rupa Manjari understands when Radhika makes this criticism to Sri Krishna, it means that Krishna will now do some paintings on the body of Radhika. So she comes with a palette of colors, a palette of different colors of sandalwood paste and kasturi also. Guru Yadunandana Chandana Shishira Turena Karena Payudare Margamadupatra Kamatra Manobhava Mangala Kalasha Sahodare Nijagadesa Yadunandana Kridati Hridaya Nandane Guru Yadunandana. Geet Govind, do you know this dance? Guru Yadunandana. When Krishna begins to paint pictures on the body of Radhika, she's so beautiful and he's in so much ecstasy that his hand is trembling. And so he keeps making mistakes and has to rub it out again and then do it again. So it's taking a long time. So then Brinda Devi, realizing that this whole process is taking a long time, she has to take drastic measures. Because the sun is just, some light is coming. People will wake up and Radha Krishna may be seen on their way home. So then Brinda Devi, she tells one old monkey named Kakati, oh, now you should do your service. Then Kakati says, Jyotila is coming. Actually, she says, the sun is rising with its reddish rays, just like an old ascetic woman who has the jata, that means the matted locks of hair. So when she says Jyotila, she's speaking a poetry, a metaphor for the first rays of the sun. But when Radha Krishna and the Sakhi see the word Jyotila, that's actually Radharani's mother-in-law, then they all become afraid and they drop whatever they're doing. And Radha Krishna quickly get up, and Krishna holding the left hand of Radhika, Radha Krishna, they come outside, they come out of the Kunj. And then the other Sakis arrived there. So at that time when Radha Krishna come out from the Kunj, then some manjus are inside and those who are outside also come in. Even Brinda Devi enters the Kunj now. It's being vacated by Radha and Krishna. And Brinda Devi looks inside the Kunj. And she can see by the way that the flower petals on the bed of Radha Krishna are arranged, or the way that they're scattered, by the way that the lac, the cosmetic decorating the feet of Radhika, and the kasturi from the body of Krishna, how they're smeared in different places on the petals in the Kunj. Just from this, she can understand what kind of beautiful pastimes have taken place there. And so Brinda Devi, looking at the beautiful Kunj, she's astonished. And she says, Chakri daya rajasi ranjita sutra baddha Gokarna matra chikura navavidya karna Sayam kuta pravara vibrama kaushalani Radyadya gishta bhattad vairjitam jigaya. Brinda Devi said, oh, it's amazing. Chakri daya Rajasi Ranjita Sutra Pada. I remember, it seems like only yesterday that Radhika was a little girl. It seemed like only yesterday. She was a little girl. Gokarna Matra. And her hair was not so, because now her hair is very long, but when she was a little girl, her hair was tied in ponytails on each side. Go matra, and they're only as long as the ears of a cow, just like cow's ears that flop up and down. So when Radhika was a little girl, her hair was not so young, and it was tied, ya kridasi rajasi ranglita sutravada. Her hair was tied in ponytails on each side, and it was only as long as the ears of a cow, just coming down to here. Ranjita sutrabhata, and her waist was tied with red string by her mother. Parents do this for the children in the Vedic culture. And Navavidya Karna, and her ears were just newly pierced. When a little girl gets a bit older, they have the Karna Bait Sanskar, the ear piercing ceremony. So Radhika, she still has some turmeric on her ears, because turmeric is applied so when the ear is pierced there's no infection. So she has newly pierced ears, the turmeric is still there. And her ponytails are like this and just moving like the ears of a cow. Why? Because she's got a mirror and she's trying to see her earrings in the mirror. She's just a little girl. What are my earrings like? I never had earrings before. And she's going like this and looking. And so her ponytails are swinging like the ears of a cow. Very beautiful. So Brinda is saying, I remember, it seems like only yesterday she was just a little girl with newly pierced ears. But now when I see this Kunj, I become amazed. How did she become so expert in all the arts of love that even Krishna, who is Ajit, he cannot be conquered by anyone. I can see that on this night, Krishna was conquered by Srimati Radhika. When the maidservant enter into the Kunj, the parrots are there. And the parrots are singing. One of the parrots says, Oh Nishinga, I am not the king of demons. So don't give me so much pain. That means the parrot heard something on the previous night. And so when the manjaris hear the parrot singing, repeating the very words of Radhika or of Krishna, then they can understand, what kind of beautiful pastimes were taking place. Some of the manjaris, they're looking on the floor and they're finding pearls everywhere. Because during the loving pastimes, the necklace of Radhika was broken and the pearls scattered everywhere. So they quickly collect up the pearls and restring the necklace to return it to Radhika. Others they go to the golden pot where Radha and Krishna spit their tambul. They're spitting the tambul remnant there. And one manjari picks up the golden spittoon and she's taking the chewed tambul betel nut and giving it to all of her Sakhis. And they're all taking the Mahaprasad tambul. Did that ever happen? In Vrindavan, when you go to the temples, it may be, if the Supreme Lord is very merciful, that the Pujari will come and give you the tambul from the deities. So this tambul is quite intoxicating, so devotees don't take intoxicants. But I remember one day, my Gurudev, the Pujari in Seva Kunj gave him the tambul, and he called him, come here. And and he talks about, I said, Gurudev, we don't take intoxicants. He said, this is the Mahaprasad of the Lord. You just take a little bit, do not have a... So then just with his fingernail, he broke off a little bit from the Tamil Betika and gave to me. So in this way, the maidservants, they collect the Tamil remnants of Radha and Krishna and they distribute to each other and taste that with great joy. So in this way, we can see, what's the next verse? Sumadura dhvani kare jata sakhi gana Mangala Sravane Baje Madhura Pujana. All Sakhigan means in the branches of the trees, the birds are singing, and the sound of all the singing birds combines together, Madhura Pujan, and makes a very beautiful, the aggregate sound of all the birds. Or another meaning is that the Sakhis themselves, they're glorifying Radha and Krishna and talking to each other and describing their beauty. So the sounds of the voices of the Sakhis is a very beautiful sound. And there are so many hidden meanings in this. I will not discuss. If you attend Mangalatik every day for 30, 40 years and chant Harinam 64 rounds every day, many new and beautiful meanings will come from each verse of this song. And so now Radha and Krishna came out from the Kunj. The Sakhis offer Arati as a to beg that whatever obstacles are in your life should come to me. That means now, Radha and Krishna, you return to your homes. You should not be seen by anyone. Let me be, I may be caught, I may be seen, but you should not be seen and you should not be caught, whatever happens. So they offer Arati, and what's happening? Kushumita sarovare kamala hirola Mangala Sarabhavahe Pavana Kalola. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshmar is there. In his trance, he's seeing the beauty of the forest of Vrindavan. Kushamita Sarovar means when they come out from the Kunj, there's a beautiful Sarovar, a beautiful lake. And the lake is Kushamita. There are so many blossoming flowers, lotus flowers there. And Mangala Sarabhavahe Pavana. Pavan means the wind. There's a gentle breeze blowing and it's carrying the saurabh, the beautiful fragrance of the flowers. And when the breeze, which is carrying the fragrance of the flowers, touches the lotuses in the lake, the lotuses are trembling in the breeze. So this poetry is painting a beautiful picture of the exquisite, the charming nature of the forest of Vrindavan when Radha and Krishna come out from the Kunj. And it's actually the glow of Radha and Krishna and the waves of their love which is affecting nature, and the whole nature becomes more beautiful. This is called Yavad Ashray Vritti. Yavad Ashray Vritti means the power of Radhika's Mahabhav, her great love, to spread out from her body and cause so many reactions everywhere. Everything begins to blow. Everything begins to glow, and the trees begin to burst into new blossoms, and the new buds appear like horripilation. And so this is the general meaning, but a deeper meaning is that all of the Sakhis, the maidservants and the friends of Radhika, they're all like lotus flowers, and the breeze is carrying the fragrance of Radha and Krishna. Krishna is so fragrant, Radhika is so fragrant, and these two fragrances are mixed together, and the breeze is carrying the fragrance of Radha and Krishna, and when the Sakhis, they smell, that's their favorite fragrance. The fragrance of Krishna is not their favorite, the fragrance of Radhika is not their favorite fragrance is the mixture of the fragrance of Radha and Krishna, and they are like lotus flowers, and being touched by that fragrance, they're all trembling. Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Vinod Manjari, they're all trembling in ecstasy. So beautiful. So then, at that time, Radha and Krishna know they have to return to their homes, but they don't want to leave each other. And so they're walking together in the forest, and Krishna has his hand around the waist, or sometimes over the shoulder of Radhika, and Radhika has her arm around Krishna, and they're walking together. At that time when they're walking together, they look so beautiful. It appears that there's a fresh rain cloud that is embraced by a flash of lightning. Krishna is like the rain cloud, and Radhika is like a flash of lightning. And you know, if a peacock will see a rain cloud with lightning, what will the peacock do? Spread the tail feathers and begin to dance. So as Radha and Krishna are walking through the forest, then the peacocks think, oh, the rain cloud and lightning has come. And all the peacocks begin to dance and call. And so the peacocks are experiencing an illusion created by the beauty of Radha and Krishna. But it's not only the peacocks. Even the gopis and the manjaris see the beauty of Radha and Krishna. And it's so astonishing that they also experience the same illusions. And we were speaking about this in the Serenity. That the beauty of Krishna is so amazing. It produces so many illusions, one after another. And the eyes cannot even comprehend what is this beauty which is newer and newer every moment. So as Radha and Krishna are walking along like this, and they're looking around, suddenly they notice in the distance, it's Jatila! But then they realize, no, it's not Jatila, it's a tree stump. It was a tree with the broken branches. And and then they keep going, and they're looking here and there, and everywhere it's as if Jatila is popping out from behind every tree. They're so afraid that they might be seen as they're going home, that it's as if there are thousands Jatilas everywhere in the forest. And then they finally get to one place where now they have to go in separate directions. So there's a village, it's near Nandagaon, in between Nandagaon and Varsanga. And that's a place where Radha Krishna, they're going home, but they have to separate. That village is called Doman. Doman means two hearts. Radha Krishna's hearts are one. But now those Radha and Krishna are feeling one with each other. They have to go their separate ways and return to their homes. So then the Sakis, they take Radhika. It's very difficult for Radhika to give up Krishna, but the Sakis say, come on. And they're taking her in one direction. They're taking Radhika, and Radhika is going to the south, on the south side. Krishna is going east. And as Krishna is now going home, he looks towards the south, and Radhika is leaving. And then he continues on his way, and now Krishna is afraid. He's thinking, in the north, it seems that Chandravali, or her Sakis, Padma and Shaiba, they're coming. Krishna's afraid because he was supposed to meet with Chandravali, but unfortunately he went to meet with Radhika instead. And so Krishna is not only seeing Jatila, he's looking over his shoulder, he thinks Jatila and Kotila are behind him, and on his left side, to the north, he's thinking Chandravali or Sakis are there, because they'll be very upset with him. And in front of him, maybe his parents woke up early and they're looking for him. They found that he was not in his room. So Krishna in all directions. On one side, Radhika is leaving, that's very heartbreaking. Another side, perhaps Jatila is spying on me. On another side, perhaps Chandravali and her Sakis are spying on me. Or maybe my parents will see me. And Krishna is in great anxiety and quickly trying to return to his home. And Radhika is going to the south, towards Yavat. Now when Radha and Krishna together, due to Yavadasharviti, they were glowing and causing the whole forest to become more and more beautiful, saturated in their own beauty and their ways of love. But now they've separated from each other, then that Mahabhav has become contracted, and Krishna, he's no longer glowing. And Radhika is no longer glowing in the same. Of course they're always glowing, they're always beautiful. But the extent of their aura becomes contracted as the beauty of their meeting is over. And now in separation they have to go to their homes. So Krishna is quickly going and he sneaks into the house and gets into his bed and falls asleep because he's very tired. And Radhika, as she's walking, then she's saying to Lalita, Lalita, you promised me. You said that you would take me and make me become immersed in the ocean of Krishna's love. But what happened? Within the same day, you took me away and brought me back. And the sun that I saw setting in the west, the same sun is now rising in the east, but there was no night. The night has disappeared. It just became an illusion like flowers in the sky. That means that the love of Radhika, her anurag, her intensity of love for Krishna is so intense, it's a thirst. It's an unquenchable thirst. And even though she drank the nectar of Krishna for hours and hours and hours during their nighttime pastimes, because that is an unquenchable thirst to love, as she's going home, she's confused and says, Lalita, what did you do? You took me out, you brought me back, but I never met with Krishna. This brain is something. Yugala Priti. This is Yugala Priti. Something astonishing. And then Radhika, she arrives in Yavat and she sneaks into her home and gets into bed and she falls asleep, also very tired. So everyone wakes, when the sun rises, everyone wakes up. And they're thinking, oh, Jojala's thinking, what's happening with my daughter-in-law? Why is she still sleeping? And the Mother Yashoda is thinking, why is my son still sleeping? So these are the pastimes of Nishanta Lila. So our Param Gurudev, he woke up very early and before Mangalati he was chanting. And as he was chanting and praying, from the external, the sadhak consciousness, he went into a trance and he began to experience the beautiful pastimes of Radha Krishna in the morning. But then someone in the temple room, before the arati starts, if you live in a temple, then someone will go in and go dong and ring the bell in the temple room or beat a gong. So then the next verse comes, Janjara Kamsara Ganta Shankara Karata. The sound of the ringing bell in the temple room breaks the meditation of Srila Bhakti Prakan Keshavaj, and he returns to his sadhak form. He thinks, oh, I'll be late for Mangalati. So he puts down his japamala and then he quickly goes to the temple room. Janjala Kansara Ganta Shanka. The pujari blows the conch. Karata, and the kartals begin playing. Mangala Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala. And the mridangas begin to beat and the devotees begin to sing the song of Mangalatik. So the deities are open and now Srila Bhakti Pragan Keshavaj is seeing that same Radha and Krishna, but from the perspective of the sadhak form. That very Radha Krishna whom she was serving in the Nishanta Lila, now in the sadhak form, those same persons are standing on the altar. And the pujari is offering the various articles in the Mangalatik. So, Mangala Arati Kare Bhakatera Gahana Abhaga Keshav. Here, Keshav, Param Guru's name is Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami. So he's saying, and now I am here, Mangala Arati Kare Bhakatera Gahana, and Mangalati is being performed in the association of all the devotees. Abhaga Keshava Kare Nama Sankirtan. And I am Abhaga. I am unfortunate. I am most unfortunate. And now I am singing Nam Sankirtan. What Nam Sankirtan? Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hariva Nashimapa Manasimalusu. That's a guitar for another day. So then we sing all the various holy names of Krishna after singing the Mangalatik song here. And the reason Srila Bhakti Pragan Keshavaj is saying Abhaga, I am most unfortunate. Why? Because, I was there serving Radha and Krishna, but now my spurti is broken. And now he's feeling separation and coming before the day. Oh, it's a miracle, you are here. My most beloved Radha and Krishna, who were performing beautiful pastimes. And I saw them in Vrindavan in my trance. Now they're standing on the altar, not moving, in the form of deities. And as the pujari is offering each one of the articles, each and every article is a udipana. Udipana means that thing that stimulates your memory of Radha Krishna's pastimes. And for the advanced devotees, the udipana causes a spurti, a divine vision of the pastime connected with that article. And so as he's seeing the pujari offer the lamp, he remembers, how the manjaris were offering the lamp to Krishna. As the pujari is offering the handkerchief, he remembers how the manjaris they dipped the handkerchief in the rose water and were removing the evidence from the bodies of Radha and Krishna. So each article is giving a spurti, is giving a realization in separation of all of those pastimes. And so now feeling so much intense separation, outwardly seeing the deities, inwardly seeing those pastimes, and feeling intense separation from them. So, Abhaga Keshava Kare, now this unlucky, unfortunate person, Keshav Goswami, is now performing Harinam Sankirtan. And so every morning we come to the temple room, and you can follow the general meaning, which is about the end of our sojourn in the material world and auspiciousness coming in our life. And the Vrindavan is beautiful with sound of peacocks and lotuses up there, and the breeze is blowing nicely. And the advanced devotee will go from external consciousness, and then when it becomes Mayura Sukhadi, he prayed for the merciful glance of Radha and Krishna, and by their glance Rati Bhav appeared. And then he goes into the inner form and then serves. And then each one of the verses has so many beautiful, secret, confidential meanings, the dhwanis, suggestions related to the service of Radha and Krishna. And so then the song continues with in the completely internal consciousness. And then Janjara Kansara Ganta. Then the Arati in this world, with the Mridangas and Shankar and Conchal, brings the author of the song, Bhakti Pragyan Keshraj, back to this world, but everything he's seeing is awakening realization in his heart. So he's feeling the intense separation from Radha and Krishna. And again, he may go back into the internal consciousness by the power of the holy name. Abhanga Keshava Kore Nama Sankirtan. So this Mangalatik is so beautiful and so important and effective and inspiring. And devotees, in whatever stage you are in, you can sing this beautiful song, and each day it will become more and more relishable, and gradually the Krishna will glance upon you and awaken love, and the vision of what is described in this song will be a direct pratyaksh, Vaidusha pratyaksh, a direct realization in the stage of trance. Jai. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami ki jai. Mangalatik ki jai. We'll see you all in the morning at 6:30. Gaur Premanande.